Marxist socialist groups. Soros. Black Lives Matter. Claire's going to go into that a lot more, so I won't steal her thunder on that. I will say this, though. What do jihadi groups and Marxist socialist revolutionaries have in common? What is their goal, their common goal? In order, what's that? World government domination. Okay. Where can they work together?
UN.
UN? Okay, I'll keep it simple. While they may have different end games, the jihadis want to create an Islamic state, and the Marxist socialists want to create their utopian society under socialism or Marxism. Where do they agree? You got to tear the system down to rebuild it. So each group uses the other group to tear the system down. I would argue they're doing a fantastic job of that right now. All right, now this is a video. We're not going to show it because we don't have very good audio. But I just want to run through some slides here just to give you an idea of what we're seeing around the world. Islam will dominate. Sharia the only solution. No democracy, we want just Islam. Sharia for Britain. Sharia for the Netherlands. Sharia for France. Need for Allah's law, not man-made law. That's Germany. Sharia, the solution for East and West. Germany. And then here's Osama bin Laden, the letter. He's essentially saying, it is essential for all Muslims that they should establish an Islamic system on the basis of the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. Well, of course he would, because that's what Islamic law says. But all along, our leaders have been telling us that Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Taliban, all of these different groups are fringe, radical. The problem is, as a national security consultant and as somebody that has actually lived and studied in mosques all over the country and been in with Hamas and then studied Islamic law, and then John Guandolo, who founded the first, he was a subject matter expert and founded the first program training law enforcement on the jihadi threat in the FBI. You know what we've come to the conclusion together? We've never found an example where Al-Qaeda or ISIS have ever misquoted Islamic law. Not once. Just something to think about. Does that change the war? We have to get out of the mindset that just because they're not trying to kill us doesn't mean they're not trying to take down our society. 1,400 years of history suggests otherwise. What is their objective? Caliphate under Sharia. What is their objective? By the way, Muslim Brotherhood is doing outreach, or Department of Homeland Security does outreach with the Muslim Brotherhood. They're on the. We have Muslim Brotherhood members that have been and are on the DHS Advisory Council. We have imams that work with Muslim Brotherhood groups that are regular attendees at the White House, and not just this administration. And what is their logo? Of course, it's a couple swords, Quran, and a verse here that says, "Against them make ready." Well, that's a Quranic quote. "Against them make ready your steeds of war to strike terror into the hearts of the enemies." What is their goal per their stated objectives, per their own bylaws? No different than ISIS or Al-Qaeda, establish an Islamic State under Sharia. Now, if that's all you knew about the Muslim Brotherhood, should these be the ones that are advising DHS, State Department? Okay, the question was, why are we so stupid? And it's a great question. There's a little bit, you want a logical answer, and I can't give you one. I don't know. Well, from the very beginning, these people have been advising us, so from the very beginning. Because we've got this idea that we can't defeat jihadis unless we have jihadis advising us on how to defeat jihadis. Makes perfect sense, right? All right, this is their creed, the Muslim Brotherhood. Allah is our goal, the Prophet is our guide, the Quran is our constitution, jihad is our way, and death for the glory of Allah is our greatest ambition. Bylaws state that they want to establish an Islamic State. You can't read that, but again, All I want you to do, we have a great website, understandingthethreat.com. There's a tab on our website that says resources and writings. You can get this, there's free PDFs of information out there, and then go out and verify everything that we're saying. I don't want you to ever regurgitate what you heard tonight. I want you to actually take the time to study this so that when you speak to friends and families and neighbors and legislators and sheriffs about this, that you know for yourself that what I'm saying is true. You know, we have a little rule whenever we travel around, we talk to law enforcement, and we actually talk in audiences where there are Muslim Brotherhood in the crowd. And we have a simple ground rule when we do our training program. It's this. If you can present anything that we ever say that is false, we will take it out of the program. And not only will we take it out of the program, but we'll hand you $1,000. Now, how much money do you think we've ever lost doing that?
Zero.
Not a penny. How many times do you think we've had to change our program? Not once. Even with Muslim Brotherhood being in the audience. Because when they're in the audience, their goal is not the truth. They know what we're saying is true. They want to shut us down. CAIR, when you hear me say CAIR, that's Hamas. Per the Holy Land Foundation trial adjudicated in Dallas, Texas in 2008, that identified CAIR as a Hamas group, along with the Islamic Society of North America as a Muslim Brotherhood group. That was the largest terrorism financing in Hamas trial in U.S. history, and the largest charity in the U.S. at the time was funneling $12 million to Hamas. They identified CAIR as Hamas. So when people say, oh, that's not true, well, I would say, okay, then call the judge, call the jury, and argue with the evidence, because the evidence has already been submitted. Well, why do I tell you that? Because CAIR Minnesota just put out on CBS just printed a story tonight, because the founder of the company, John, is speaking in Bagley?
Vaguely.
Bagley?
Vaguely. Yep.
Please forgive me if I said that wrong.
It's vaguely.
He's speaking out there tonight at a high school, and CAIR comes out and CBS prints that CAIR recommends that this training not happen. Yeah, of course they don't want this out there. They don't want people to hear the truth. This is not that hard. Once you hear it, you know the truth. When you hear truth, you know it. They don't want you to hear it. So of course they want to shut this down. They've been shutting, they're a big part of the reason that FBI agents are no longer trained on how to investigate and dismantle the jihadi network, because it was insensitive to Muslims. Of course it was.